Good morning. Just wait a second here. Perfect. How's it going, everyone? I'm Cheryl with Yoga in Small Spaces, and today's class is a flow class. And what I did with this particular class is I broke it into 3 sequences that each sequence has kind of a theme to it. So you may want to have a blanket for a little bit of support underneath the knees, because we will be on the knees a little bit today. And then also a block or 2 blocks, maybe even like nice thick books. You could have those close by. And also, I think I said blanket, yeah. Gotta excuse my voice. I have a cold, so I'm a little snuffly, and but that's no excusing why I can't do my practice, right? Because it's going to clear everything out. So I want you to come to your mat and have a seat. I have my good old trusty Tim Horton Timbits coffee mug with my coffee, and I have a Star Wars cup with my glorious hot water, just in case my voice starts going on me here. So you see me take a sip, that is why. So I'm just going to get ready here, get all settled in. I'm just going to make sure that sorry about that on the screen. I just feel like it's not really straight. Trying my best. Here we go. All right. All right, so here we go. Have this close by, just in case, because I can tell my voice or my body's chilly. My voice is off, but that's okay. Okay, so like I said, have a blanket, have 2 blocks. If you have them, if you don't have them, I'll show you the variations without it. And yeah, I think that's it. So let's come to sitting on your mat, okay? So for this particular class, we're going to actually start off in rock pose. So we're sitting on our heels, and you're just going to allow your hands to connect down on your lap. And we're going to take the first couple of moments just to bring a beautiful connection of our natural breath. If you're like me, your snuffly breath for the practice, okay? So you can close your eyes. If you prefer to have your eyes opened, you can. But I encourage you, if the eyes are open, just see if you can soften the eyeballs and just find a focal point, looking at one point. Don't look around at everything. If you need to stare and look at me, you can do that. So shoulders are away from the ears. And just have that connection of your breath awareness. Noticing the flow of your breath, if it's short, if it's nice and long. There's no judgment on how the breath is. It's just having that awareness, that observation, where you are in this present moment. Dig a little bit deeper into the breath. You're going to exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Breath in. Breath out. One more deep breath in. Breath out through the mouth. Return to your natural breath. The eyes are closed, slowly open them. Either looking at the screen or finding a point where you can look. And just, again, eyes are soft. we're going to come into a nice gentle twist in our rock pose. At any point, if you need to shift yourself, especially with the knees, you can move into Sukhasana or have those legs extended in front of you. And we're just going to gently twist to the right. So I'm bringing my right hand towards the back of my buttocks, like onto the floor. And my left hand is just gently on the outside of my right leg. For some of us, this is too far. So if you don't want to go as far in your twist, you go to where the body wants to stop, not where it's forcing it, because we're not warmed up yet. You're going to come back to center, and you're going to switch sides, twisting to the left. Your face is relaxed. Remember, your twist is only going to where the body wants to stop. You're not forcing a twist too far. You're just feeling a slight sensation. You're going to come back to center. And now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to come into child's pose here. So right from your rock pose, just gently, where it's our first one, walk the hands forward. So for myself, it is morning time, so I'm still a little bit tight in my back and my hips. So I'm not going to come too far. I'm just going to come on to my forearms. For some of you, you may want to bring the knees wide, giving yourself a little bit more room. But I'm going to keep my knees together, and I'm just going to hang out here for a second. Few nice deep breaths in and out of the nose. And I'm going to walk my hands back, coming up, back to rock pose. But this time, I'm just going to slide myself forward a little bit more, so I'm more centered on the screen for you. I'm going to come back into an ankle stretch, the front of my ankle, the front of my feet into my shin. So, and I'm just going to lean back and lift my knees. And this way, I'm coming into the very top of the soles, or the top of my feet, going into the shins, into the ankles. For some of you, this may be just a gentle lift on the knees, and even just coming back, it may be enough. I'm just going to walk my hands back here for a moment. Nice, smooth breath. I'll be reminding you through the whole practice to breathe, because when we're thinking, we tend to stop breathing. It's weird. And I'm just going to allow myself to come on back up. And I'm going to transition to a tabletop. So I'm bringing my hands forward. My knees, I'm going to make sure are in line with my hips. My hands and wrists, so more of my wrists are in line with my shoulders. And I'm making sure that I'm looking down at my mat. I'm just going to swish side to side, seeing how this lateral move feels within my torso, going down past my waist into my hips. And I'm going to move through 3 cat and cows. So I am going to exhale on my table, and then move into my cow on a breath in. And I'm bringing my shoulder blades together, and which is bringing my chest down towards the mat. And now I'm going to exhale, round it all in, even my chin to my chest, to a cat. I'm going to do 2 more of those. So I'm going to breathe in to a cow, breath out to a cat. I'm going to do 1 more. Inhale, shoulder blades together, and then exhale, cat. And now I'm going to come back to a neutral tabletop. I'm going to go into the soles of my feet, tackling into there, and my toes, and even my wrists. So what I would like you to do is just tuck the toes underneath. Just give yourself a second here, see if you can tuck all the toes where they're grounding. For me, it's hard for my pinky toes to grasp the ground. And from table, I'm going to turn my hands so my wrists are facing away from me. So for some of us, this is enough. You're already feeling the stretch into your toes and into your wrists. I'm going to sit back just a little bit. And I'm going to stay here for at least 3 breaths. So breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. One more, inhale and exhale. I'm going to come back up, wrap my hands. I'm just going to do one wrist at a time, a few little circles. That was quite intense. And now, with the toes still tucked, I'm going to sit back and get a toe stretch here for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Breath in, breath out. One more, inhale, exhale. I'm going to walk my hands forward, untuck my toes. I'm going to tap my feet behind me. My sinuses are starting to get clear, so I excuse the sniffling. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath and come into a downward dog. It's my first downward dog, so I'm going to bend one knee at a time, breathing into the back of each leg separately, seeing the difference from the right leg to the left. For myself at the moment, I'm having these little popping sounds in my right hip. You get little air bubbles in my synovial fluid. It's like air bubbles in my nose. And then allow yourself to come into a full downward dog. So hands are pushing into the mat. Heels are being sent down to the mat. Doesn't mean they have to touch. And then we're going to walk the feet forward, coming into a forward fold. So we're just going to dangle here for a moment. My feet are hip width apart. I have a nice little bend in my knees because my body's not warmed up yet. I'm going to allow my neck to relax. I'm going to take my right hand, place it on the ground. You might need a block underneath the right hand, or you can use your fists or fingertips. And I'm going to bend my right leg, straighten my left, and sweep my left arm up in a nice gentle twist here. Smooth breath. I'm going to release my left hand down, replacing that for my right hand. So left hand's down, sweeping up the right hand, bending the left leg, straightening the right leg. Nice gentle twist. And then come back to your forward fold. This time your forward fold, if you prefer not to dangle, you can just release the neck. I'm going to put my hands underneath the fronts of my feet. I'm going to inhale a little bit of a straight, flat spine with what I can get here, and then I'm going to exhale, fold in. I'm going to untuck my hands from underneath my feet. I'm just going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, coming to Tadasana. So we're going to go into our first sequence here. So just make your way towards the top of your mat, just so you have room, bringing one leg back at a time on your mat. So in Tadasana, you're standing with your feet where they're a natural hip width apart. So if you're not sure what's a natural stance of the feet, just do a gentle march. And then allow those feet to plant down. I'm having my palms facing away from me to the wall in front of me. My feet are pushing into the ground. I have a nice active mountain pose. So I'm tightening my glutes, keeping my chin parallel with the ground. You can have the eyes opened or you can have the eyes closed. We're going to move into our first sequence, and it's the warrior sequence. So you're going to root the right foot into the ground, and you're going to step your left foot back and coming into a crescent warrior. So for our crescent warrior this morning, we are going to bring the arms into cactus arms or fork arms. Your palms are facing the wall in front of you. You're bringing your shoulder blades together. And with that back foot, the heel's being pulled to the wall behind you. Smooth breath. You can stay here in the crescent warrior, or you can rotate that back foot coming into a warrior one. So for me, for warrior one, I'm actually just going to bring my hips more parallel with each other, bring my back foot in a little bit, and then rotate my hips to come into warrior one. So your back foot's at about a 45-degree angle, front knee is bent. If this is too intense on that back knee, it doesn't feel right, go back into the crescent warrior. Arms are overhead, shoulders away from the ears, and breathe. Now, starting to rotate hips back to parallel, bringing the arms down to a T, we're coming in to warrior two. So because a warrior two opens up the hips, opens up the pelvis, you may be able to slide your feet a little bit further apart. Bringing those arms at a T. If you're noticing, take a look and see your arms, if they're one's higher than the other. And just take that time, find that nice straight alignment. And if your arms don't want to be in a straight line, like you can tell that it's a compression into the shoulder joints, that they're not meant to be straight across, then go with what feels natural with your body. Smooth breath. Reverse warrior. Turn your front palm up, sweep back to reverse warrior. So this whole time I have my glutes engaged, which is taking strain a little bit off the hamstrings, giving protection to my lower back. Nice smooth breath. You're going to windmill the arms around, and you're going to go through a flow. So you're going to step that right foot back. You're in a plank. Tighten the glutes to come down into chaturanga, but this time, if you're not feeling that strength, core strength, I want you to bring your knees down and come into a 6-point flow. You're going to sweep yourself forward, either to a cobra or that upward dog, which is where the thighs come up off of the mat. And then you can tuck the toes, come into a downward dog. And you're going to walk your feet forward to that forward fold. Remember, the hands can connect somewhere on the legs or under the feet. Your tailbone's being sent up to the ceiling. Get a deeper stretch into the back of the legs, going into the glutes and the lumbar spine. That compression happening within the abdominal muscles here. And then you slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. We're going to go through that same sequence, warrior sequence, with the left leg being in the front. So we're back into Tadasana. You're rooting that left foot into the ground, and then you're stepping your right foot back, coming into that crescent warrior. So we're gonna bring those arms into cactus arms or forks. Have your elbows at the same height or in line with the shoulders. Smooth breath. Rotate that back foot. You're getting ready for warrior one. Now remember, you just might want to open up a little bit the hips. For me, I want to bring my back foot in a little bit closer and then come into my warrior one. Again, if this is too much on that back right knee, go back into the crescent warrior. We don't want to put strain on the knee joint and the ligaments with that knee joint, right? Smooth breath. You're going to open up yourself to warrior two. Again, now that we've opened up the pelvis and the hips, bringing them parallel, I'm able to go a little bit wider with the stance of my feet. So I'm bringing those arms to a T, gazing over those left fingers, and breathe. So the glutes are tightened. I have a nice lift and extension, elongation of my spine. Front palm turns up. Exhale, reverse warrior. Face is nice and soft. And we're going to windmill those hands. We're going to go through a flow. So you choose, knees up or knees down. Tighten the lower, or tighten the glutes to support your core, supporting the lower back. And you're coming down. Into an upward dog or cobra. And then into a downward dog, Adho Mukha Shavasana. So you're noticing it's a nice slow flow. We're not going too fast. We're holding each pose between 3 to 5 breaths, depending on your rate of breath. You're now going to walk those feet forward, coming into our forward fold, and noticing now that we've worked both sides, left and right, how your forward fold is feeling. Are you able to go a little bit deeper? Is it the same? Are you noticing any ease into the back of the legs? How's the neck feeling? And you're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Shoulders away from the ears. Sequence 2, we're working into the rotation of the spine. So spinal work. So we're going to start with rooting the right foot into the ground. So we're pushing nice, I don't want to say hard, but you feel that grounding. The outside of the right foot is anchored down into the heel. And we're going to move into a knee raise here. We're going to bring the hands to a prayer. Just raise that left knee up off the mat. You may not be able to come as high. Go with where you have your balance and control. You're looking forward, slightly down, or maybe mid-wall or upper wall, wherever you feel comfortable for balance. Smooth breath. Now start twisting to the left. You're working your obliques. I'm going to bring my right hand to the outside of my left knee and extend my left arm back. Woo. Come back to center. Ooh, my balance is off this morning, but that's okay. I'm going to step back, rotate my back foot to a 45-degree angle. I'm coming into extended side angle pose. So I'm bringing my front forearm down to my front thigh, extending the left arm up and over. So with extended side angle pose, a lot of us tend to do this with our arm coming straight up. We want our arm that's on the outside here, opening up the chest, bicep by that left ear. Now, if your shoulder is tight and doesn't like this, your shoulder joints, you can bring the arm alongside it and still open up your chest. Smooth breath. Now I'm going to come into a revolving twist. So I'm bringing my torso to center, turning my back foot, so it's like I'm coming into a crescent warrior, bringing my left tricep to my right leg, and I have prayer hands on the other side. If this is too far, just bring the left hand down and open up yourself to the right. You're going to come back to center, drop that back knee down, rotate yourself opened, and we're going to come into a half triangle here. Excuse me. So I'm bringing my left shin, same length as my mat. My right toes are pointing forward. Bringing my arms to a T, forward, tilt. Smooth breath. Now I'm coming back to my T shape with my arms, rotating more my torso, and then bringing the left hand either to a block or the ground and coming into a revolving triangle. I'm going to bring my torso back up, take the rotation out of my spine, bend my front knee, hands down, and I'm going to flow. I'm going to walk my feet forward, coming into that forward fold. And then slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, coming back to Tadasana. I'm going to go into my spinal work sequence on the other side. So this time, I'm rooting my left foot into the ground. Coming into that knee raise, hands are at prayer, raising my right foot, knee up, keeping my right foot flexed. Left foot is pushing into the ground. Hands are at prayer. If you prefer the hands on the hips, you can have the hands on the hips. And then let's go into that rotation. Left hand to right leg. Excuse me, and then bringing my right arm behind me. Ooh, my balance is definitely off this morning. That's okay though. Come back to center. Step that right foot back. Coming into extended side angle pose. So front forearm down, right bicep is beside my right ear. Bringing my torso almost like it's coming at a 45-degree angle from over that front knee. Bringing right hand down to the ground, rotating my back heel up, coming into my revolving twist. Remember, you can bring that right hand back to the ground if you can't make it all the way this way, and that's okay. Bring the right hand to the ground or on a block, and you can extend that left arm up. I feel like kind of going into the twist here. Pause a little bit further for myself this morning. Smooth breath. I'm going to bring my hands down, bring the back knee down as if I'm coming into a low lunge, taking my back leg, bringing the shin the same length as the width, coming up, extending my left leg out. I'm coming into a half triangle. So arms are at a T, gazing over my right fingers, Torso's being pulled forward, tilting into my triangle. Trikonasana with support modification. And then come back up. Arms are on a T. I'm rotating my torso, so I'm working the obliques. It's just the upper body rotating, bringing that right hand down. For myself, I'm noticing my movement is a little bit limited this morning on the right. So I'm grabbing myself a block, using my hand on the block to aid with the rotation. I'm still getting the full benefit of the pose. And then bringing that left hand down and arm down, bending that front knee, bringing the right shin. So you're almost on your way back to a low lunge, and you can flow. You're gonna bring your knees down to the ground, almost like you're coming into table. Send your heels, sit bones back to your heels, and you come and sitting on your sit bones. Knees are bent in front of you. Our last sequence, we're gonna be getting into working into the core, opening the psoas, getting an opening of the chest. So we're going through a movement, going from half, like a wild thing, down, and then to a boat. So here we go. So you're gonna have your feet planted on your mat. Feet are hip width apart, slightly ahead of the knees. And we're gonna have a crunch in the middle too, is what I forgot to mention. So we're gonna be sitting up, sorry. I feel like a little sneeze is coming on here. You're gonna crunch right arm or elbow in, so you're rounding the spine. And then you're gonna bring your left arm behind you, hand onto the ground. And then you're coming up into wild thing or wild table. So if this is too much, you can just come into a full table, not alternating sides. You're gonna come down with control. We're gonna switch crunches. So this time my left arm's coming in, bent elbow, rounding my spine. Right hand's behind me, up to a wild table. Come on down. And we're gonna switch. So now we're gonna do this one more time per side, so you can get the hang of it. Crunch. Left arm in, up. Come on down. We're gonna add to this flow, all right? So what's gonna happen is we're gonna go into boat, half boat. Hands down, crunch, up. Come on down, boat. I'm gonna flex my feet in my boat, tackle the soles of my feet. Come on down, crunch left arm, up. Crunch, boat. Crunch, wild with the left hand coming down. Nice and controllable at your pace. So don't rush it. Do what works for you at your pace. Your control. Where you're alternating here. Do one more boat. Bring those feet down. Gonna come onto your knees. If you need support underneath the knees, place a blanket underneath the knees or a little bit further below the knees onto the shins. We're gonna come into camel. So come to seated on your heels. You may want to block underneath the sit bones if your sit bones don't come all the way down. And we're going to raise ourselves up and have our knees hip width apart. You can have the toes tucked or untucked, whatever works for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the arms overhead, come into an arch, and bring the left hand down to the left foot. Beautiful opening. If this is too much, just bring hands to the lower back, okay? I'm going to do a little flow here with control, going from side to side 3 times, or you can just hold your camel, okay? So I'm sweeping up to the left. Coming up. Sweeping to the right. Coming up. 2 more times per side. Add 1 more per side. If you're doing the flow, come back with arms overhead. Bring them in front of the heart. The toes were tucked. Untuck them. Bring your sit bones back. Come into child's pose. It's a nice counter pose to that little flow on the arch of the spine. Smooth breath. Slowly roll up 1 vertebra at a time. You're going to slide off your heels and come to laying on your back. We're going to get ready for a nice gentle spinal twist. So bring the knees in towards the chest. Drop gently side to side. And bring the arms out to a T. Or if you want the arms, the elbows bent, knees in line with the hips. If it's better on your lower back to have the feet touching the ground, have the feet touching the ground. We're going to rotate knees to the right. Look over the left if it feels good on your neck. And breathe. Bring the neck back in line with the spine, knees back up to center, and we're going to switch sides here. Bring the knees down to the left, rotate looking towards the right arm if it feels good on the neck. Come back up to center, neck rotation and knees. Bring them in towards the chest. You can just do a gentle spinal massage or happy babies within your practice and you want to go into it. Move into happy baby. And then bring the knees back to center. Give yourself a gentle spinal massage like a rocking horse. So you can rock yourself back up to sitting, to Sukhasana. Bringing the legs crossed, shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to gently twist to the right. Come back to center, twist to the left. Face is relaxed. Come back to center. Hands are resting wherever they're comfortable. Have a nice elongation of the spine, shoulders away from the ears, but find that elongation of the spine where the vertebrae is stacked up on top of each other, where you have a nice ease of the breath. Bring the palms together in front of the heart. You're going to take in a nice deep breath and exhale through the mouth. Return to your natural breath. Thank you so much for joining me for this nice slow flow class. Lovely sequences tackling certain elements and poses that just focus in one area in each section. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to send me a message at yogainSmallSpaces@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a message on IG, Instagram, Yoga in Small Spaces, or you can shoot me a message on Facebook at Yoga in Small Spaces with Cheryl. Have a fantastic day or evening whenever you're choosing to do this practice. And again, thank you for joining me. Have a great day.